They can hear about my car.
Okay, there we go. All right. Now, I got a couple of questions sent in on 4.1. We'll look at them and let you know if they're test questions or not. That's 4.111. This is 4.17. 4.17. All right, let's go ahead and look at it. It says clear here to view the data set. So there's the data set. So go ahead and I'll put it in Excel so I can make it bigger so you can see it. This is a test question. Anything having to do with correlation or, you know, that kind of stuff. So go ahead and copy this one down. It's not a major deal. Or you can put it in your calculator and I'll show you, if I hadn't already shown you, I think I showed you, right? How to do it on a calculator. Linear regression, display on. Okay, all right, we'll do it again. All right, so remember, the only thing I want you to be able to do by hand on these is find the slope and the equation. So I'm going to plot it, and then I'm going to try to find, and then we'll do it by hand, and then I'll show you how to do it on the calculator and find the correct answer on the calculator and the Excel spreadsheet. So take a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and plot it so we can see what it looks like. Okay, that's what it looks like. I'm going to make it bigger so y'all can see it. Now, remember, when you're doing, I forgot the whiteboard. Dang, hold on. Heaven forbid they have everything pulled up. There are colleges that when I type in my name and password, it automatically pulls up all the applications that I use and already has them open. What a concept. 2050, one day we'll get there. Sorry.
I actually found out how to use Google Sheets.
Well, that's good.
It's life changing. It really is.
Wait, how'd y'all figure it out?
Yeah.
Go on the website. Go on.
We had to use
Yeah, I used a YouTube video.
Yeah. It's amazing what them YouTube videos will do. But you have to go in and click on them, you know. It's real hard work. All right, now, what do you have to use? You have to find a line of regression or the line of best fit. Now, you can actually go through and draw a line. And if you're pretty good at it, you might be close. I don't know. Looks like probably maybe right in there. No, that ain't. Let me do that. And then maybe somewhere in there. That's probably just by estimating. That's what I would say is the best fit line. So I don't think you're going to be able to do a slope because if you try to do an equation here, that's going to be too high. And if you try to do, well, you don't have 2 points here. You only have 1 point. You only have 1 point there. I doubt very seriously you're going to be able to get, because you only have 1 point there. So in this case, you probably, I say probably somewhere in there. You're probably going to have to rely on technology for this one. Because I was going to say grab 2 points. We'll do these 2 points. Let's do the 2 points right here. And this is not the line of regression. I just want you to be able to find the slope of that line. So use the first and the last point. So I will highlight those for you. We're going to use the first. Well, hold on. We're going to use that point. And the last point is 7. We'll use that point. I want you to find the slope and the equation of that line. And then we'll take the calculator and the spreadsheet and find the correlation coefficient and the equation for the best fit line. So 2, 4, and 7, 20. Which way do we read? Left to right. Unless you're from the Middle East, Muslim. X of 2, y sub 2. So slope is equal to delta y over delta x, which is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So 20 minus what? 4 over 7 minus what? 2. What's 20 minus 4? 16 over 5, which really sucks, but you can't do anything about it. Now we pick a point. Which one do you think I'm going to pick? 2, 4 or 7, 20?
2, 4.
2, 4 because of what method? The KISS method. Keep it what?
Simple.
Y minus 4 is equal to 16 fifths times x minus what? 2. Y minus 4 is equal to 16 fifths x. What's 16 times 2? 32, so that's minus 32 fifths. Bring this over as positive 20 fifths. And that's y is equal to 16 fifths x minus 12 fifths. Somebody check me on that.
Yes.
Now that's the equation for the line between 2 points. The reason I did that, not because the problem asked for it, I just kind of go over it again. That way when the test or the homework asks you to find the equation of a line, that's how you do it. Now we're going to find, with technology, we're going to find, I do not ask my students to find it by hand because it's very tedious. Why do that when you can? And a lot of people say, well, Hubert, you tell us not to use the calculator to do basic math. Well, you shouldn't have to. You've had 12 years of basic math. You should not have to use a calculator to take the square root of 25 or the square root of 37 or to add 17 plus 4. You should not have to do that, okay? The critical thinking skills, they develop with the mathematics, not tedious math, okay? Tedious math is when you have to do all of the calculations in columns and things like that, and that's why I tell you, it's good to know it, but when you're talking about least squares regression, that makes the tedious math that we did in the first unit look like, child's play, and I just don't think it's important for you to learn that. So I'm going to erase this line. Well, I'm going to put this line where I think the best fit is. And I think I've said right in here. Now I'm going to click onto my handy dandy dot. Right click and add trend line. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to hit display equation and display R squared. Everybody with me? So there is our line. I'm going to blow it up for you so you can write it down if it'll do it. And it's not doing it. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. It's a conspiracy. There we go. Now, we don't need R squared. What do we need? We need R. So what did I tell you to do last week when you want to find R? You take the square root of R squared. So take the square root of R squared. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. I gotta turn off the recorder here. I gotta make fun of somebody. It's okay if I make fun of somebody, isn't it? As long as I don't tell you their name. It's not in this class anyway. So I got a text pause my system. It takes me about 3 or 4 days to get it out of my system. Huh?
Put a test question, follow simple instructions.
Yeah, if you follow essay instructions, you won't get blank. Tased. All right, so somebody take the square root of r squared. What do you get? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What? R is equal to 0.88. This is very important, and this is very important. That's the only thing I'm going to test you on. Okay? I don't test, I'll test you on the graph, because you got to find the graph, which we've got right here. Okay, I'm not going to test you on, now, some of your homework questions has Philadelphia law year questions on it. I don't like those questions, okay? You muddle through them the best way you can on the homework, because I'm not going to ask them on the test. Yes?
Okay, so the Google Sheets version of the equation is rounded to the second decimal.
That's not a big deal. Just see me after class. If you try to, on the homework, try to figure out how they round versus how you can go into settings on your Google Sheet. Hold on a second. Somewhere up here you got settings, and I can't work my. This is so frustrating. Somewhere you got maybe options. I don't know. Just Google settings on Google Sheets and see if you can set the sig figs. This might try this. Highlight the whole sheet. When y'all hit the top left-hand corner, does it highlight the whole sheet? Yeah. Okay, right click on it. Go down to Format Cells. Huh? Number and round it to 5 digits or 6. Now you may have to move some stuff around. It's not a big deal there. And that may help you with the rounding. I don't know, because I don't know how yours works, and right now I can't even get mine to move over. Yeah, see? It did a little bit better. So play with it and see if you can get it to work. You may have to go through and redo the, after you round to the nearest 6th digit or whatever, you might want to go in and check it then. Okay? All right, so that's one. Now let's look and see the graph. The graph looks like it's going through that second point and it's above the third point. So let's look at your graph on the homework and see which one matches it up. I hope y'all wrote that down. Okay, it's still on here, so I can, okay, let's see, done. Okay, which one does it look like? It looks like either B or D, and it says it's D. So make sure you can pick out the graph of the plotted points. The correlation coefficient, what did we say it was? I got 0.88. Of course, it says round to 3 decimals. I didn't know that while I was doing it.
It's 0.885.
885, that's what it is. Okay. And then, okay, what is this correlation? What is this line doing as you put it right here? Left to right. Which way do we read? Which way do we read? So put your car right here. What's that car doing? It's going uphill. So it was a positive correlation. Positive what? Positive slope. You'd be surprised on how that little car helps you. Because I get people, when I draw a line like this, they don't know whether that's a positive slope or negative slope. Which way do we read? Put your little car right there. I mean, it's real simple. You'd be surprised on how many people don't know that. Okay, now y'all figure out the Philadelphia lawyer stuff there. They basically ask the same thing in 2 questions. I don't know why they do that. And, is there a relationship between correlation and slope? Yes. The only difference, what's the only difference? Correlation only goes from -1 to what? +1. Slope goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, that's the only difference. Everybody with me? But the sign is a direct correlation. Does correlation mean causality? No. Does causality mean correlation? Yes. All right, so So I would say probably 2/3 of this question is a test question. What's the 2/3? Be able to find the line, be able to find the graph, be able to find R, and I don't care about this. But I do want you to be able to say, is it a positive correlation or a negative correlation? Because I go through and I pick out the problems that doesn't have the stupid questions on it, or I try to. But it's hard to do sometimes because some of them are really stupid. This one is number 11. Really? 2050. Y'all know why they set the log out time so small? Because no teachers, I think except for me, pull in homework questions from email. That's why. If 50 teachers were doing it, then they would extend the login time. Hey, Barry. Okay, forbidden. We'll just cancel class today. Everybody says, yay! And that one person, yes, I just wanted you to know, you canceled class today. I just thought you'd want to know that. But don't, there's always one. There's always one. Okay, here we go. It says, yes, this is a test question. And this one, I'm going to show you how to do it on the calculator. So click on this. Oh, yeah. I want to do this one on the Excel spreadsheet. Put in Excel spreadsheet.
What is this?
This is number, I told you the number. Number 11.
Not the number, but like, that's not fun.
Okay. And pull up the Excel spreadsheet. And I'll make it big where you can write it down. Give me a second. There you go.
Are we going to do a calculator?
Yeah, I'm going to do a calculator on the first problem. Well, we can do it on this one because we got to see what they're asking. I don't know what they're asking yet. Well, you can't calculate the months, but
It says Jason.
I don't know if this is going to do it or not, but I'm going to try it. I doubt it's going to do it. Insert. Yeah, I figured it would have a fit. I'm going to have to do separately. I'm going to have to break them up. So I'm going to insert a column here. Insert. And then I'm going to copy this column. Control C, Control V, there we go. And I'm going to see if this will work. Insert. Well, sorry, hold on. Insert. Why does it keep going over here? Okay, I don't know what it's doing. I'm trying to do, and it's not doing it.
Because cell D is selected.
It's probably because I should put the month in the first column. Let me try that. Control X. Control V. Okay, get rid of this. I know what they're going to ask. They're going to ask, is there a correlation and causality? Yes, there is. But right now I'm trying to figure out how to graph it. So just give me a second because, of course, it's not. I'm not getting a lot of cooperation from the spreadsheet right now, so just give me a second.
Well, what you need to do, why are you doing the month plus drowning deaths?
I wanted to show you the correlation for the drowning deaths and the correlation. I want to show them separately. So just give me a second.
Cause on our graph, on where it says.
There we go.
Says on some budget.
Well, that's what I was trying to do. What they should have done was put the month first instead of doing it the more difficult way. All right, everybody, put it, when you hit the tab, does it transfer to your Google Sheet?
No.
It doesn't. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take this one out. This is what you need to do. I'm just going to start over. When you transfer this one over, you need to put the month first. Okay, so I'm going to go in and hit copy in Excel. You might want to copy to clipboard and then paste into your Google Sheets. You might want to try that. Okay, go to it and change this column. Control C. I'm on Control. Oh, wait a minute. I hate that button. All right. Control X. And then Control. I better insert. Insert. There. Everybody with me? And now I think you'll be able to. I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place. Insert. It should. There they go. That's what you want. Now make sure you can do that on your, you better do it on your Excel spreadsheet or because it'll be a whole lot easier. But if I don't know how you would type that in on your calculator, and I know you would type it in through Stat and Edit, but I don't know if it would take the letters. I don't know how it would do that. And I'm not on the calculator drill team, so I don't know if it would do that or not. So look at the correlation. Now, how do you tell if there's causality? Because is there the same bell-shaped curve with the blue and the orange? Yes. Now, why is there correlation? Why does the Lyme disease and drowning deaths go up in this area right here? Summer. So you would say there's causality here because in the summer months, people do what? They get out, they go camping, they go swimming. And it's hard to go camping, without going swimming, especially if you go to a campground that has a what? A lake or a pool. And some campgrounds have pools, okay? So that's why there's correlation. Would there be maybe a correlation between drinking on the lake and boat wrecks?
Yeah.
Could there be a correlation between drinking on the lake and drownings? Yes. But they would still be in correlation with the summer months because I don't see too many people going out on Lake Hartwell drinking in the middle of January. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to drown if you're not on the what? Not on the water. So this is a good example of what I would want. Now, they may ask you 15 questions on the test. Okay? Now I'll show you how to find the trend line on this one. But is this a non-linear or a linear? So you would go and you would hit add trend line, the blue one. And I would probably say it's a curve, so I would probably say polynomial. Now, do the same thing. I'm going to add the trend line. Equation r squared, there we go. Now, I really don't care about the equation, but I care about the what? The r squared. Now let's do the orange. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the trend line kind of follow the same what? The same path, the same pattern, the same path. And let's look at the equation and the r squared. Now somebody take 0.49 and take the square root of it. What do you get? 7 or 0.7 or 0.07. Take the square root of 0.43. What do you get? You get about 6 point something. Okay, so are the r's close together? Yes. So when you have two graphs that are the same pattern, there may be a causality. Now, who answers that question? You and I, with a little bit of common what? Common sense. Okay? So, is this a good test question? Yes. Is it based on technology? Yes. Can you do it on your calculator? I have no idea. Y'all check it out and see if you can. I'll have to find out if you can. Now, what I would do, if you use Google, I would go back to the question, and this is what I would do. I would hit right here, copy to clipboard. And since you can't send it to your Google sheet, you said you couldn't, right? So hit copy to clipboard, and done. And then pull up the Excel spreadsheet and bring over here and hit Control V, and it didn't work. Well, you might have to do something different on yours. It didn't copy. Wonder why it didn't copy. Damn Russians. Damn Russians are into everything.
You might have hit Control V instead of Control C.
Okay. Let me do this. Copy and clipboard. It's supposed to copy. Please copy and paste. You hit done. I'll hit Control C. Done. Now go into here and hit Control V. There you go. But make sure you put the month. Take that out. Control X. And then put it in here. Control V. And of course, do it the right way. Don't do it the wrong way. I just did it the wrong way. Anyway, let me hit undo. And I'm going to hit Control X. Control X. Then I'm going to hit Insert.
Cut cells.
There. Now you can, you can do the top line if you want to, but I would just do that and insert. And that right there is one of the most important features on Excel, is to be able to take data and what? Graph it. And hopefully you've been shown how to do that. I really don't want to know, because if you say no, you haven't, that really depresses me, because this is one of the things that you need to be taught, because in the office, no matter what you're doing, no matter what profession you're in, you're going to be asked to present a chart. Unless you're one of these people that, you know, are seclusive and work in a closet, you know, and don't talk to anybody, like the good doctor. Okay? He went on a date. It was not good. He says he don't want to go on a date no more. He plays a good part. He's a good actor. Very good actor. Okay, I'll shut up. Next. Oh, let's see what the question asks. Let's see what the question asks. And is this the question? Okay. See, they want you to do it. I don't even see it.
They want you to do it together.
I did do it together.
No, like you did two different charts together. They want you to see the correlation between drownings and Lyme disease.
Ah, okay. Well, then you just do the two together. Let me go back.
The months don't matter.
I'm sorry. I guess that's what you were trying to tell me when I wasn't listening. Okay. I'll give you credit. All right, now, insert. There we go. All right, is there a correlation? Well, let's look. Then I'll add trend line. It'll be linear and display and R. And somebody take the square root of 0.914 And that should be what? 0.9 even?
No, 0.956.
All right, write that down. And write the equation down just if we need it. I'll blow it up so you can. Okay, it's not blowing up. I love how this doesn't work half the time. There you go. All right, the correlation between the Lyme disease and the drowning deaths, you see there is a correlation. You've got R equal to 0.9 what? 56? That's 0.96. That's pretty high. Okay? So you would say that there is causality here, but the gap between correlation and causality is filled in by your common sense. I hope y'all understand what I just said. So which one does it look like? It looks like A. And what did y'all say it was? 0.956. It says round to 3 decimal places. And you feel good about yourself. This looks like, oh, they had to add this stupid question at the end. I hate it. Because the correlation coefficient is positive, and the absolute value of the correlation coefficient,
0.
what?
Be 0, right?
The absolute value is 0.956.
About 80.
Well, I don't know how I can say that. Oh, okay, the correlation. You got to look here. Correlation. How many points do we have? Did it say? It doesn't say, and so you have to look. Find N. Was it 12? 12 months. So 0.576. Write that down. Ours is 0.9, so it should be higher. So it's higher than 0.576. So that's what they're asking for. 12 is 0.576. So it's greater than the critical value of what was the critical value? 0.576. So there is a positive linear relationship or something like that. Oh my God. Do you believe an increase in Lyme disease causes an increase in drowning deaths? No. An increase in Lyme disease is not increase, no. It should be no. Whichever one says no. Okay.
C.
Does not. Okay, you say C. It should be no because they don't. What is the underlying thing in common? People are up outside. Summer. That's what. So if it asks that, then it's okay. Well, of course, they don't ask that because.
Does the temperature and time of year likely the lurking?
That's it. That's what you're supposed to say. That should be the question, not anyway. I like this part. I like the first part. I like the second part, and that's it. So if I pick a test question, it's going to have the first and second part on it. And you can do the correlation both ways. You can do it side by side, or you can do it by month to see the pattern. And I think I've shown you that there is a pattern in both the nonlinear and the linear. So it depends on how you do it. You still get the same answer. Capiche? All right, I'm going to let y'all try this one. And this one, I want you to see if you can copy into your Google Sheet. And they just probably changed the numbers. So I'm going to Excel, and we're just going to do the first part. So I'm going to blow it up for you. And if you have to, copy it into go ahead and type it into your sheet. But see if you can copy on your clipboard and see if you can put it in your Google Sheet.
It just said you gotta move it. I have it downloaded and moved it.
Okay.
And then like I tried doing it saying open Excel even though I don't have it, and I upload it to like Google Sheets home, but it doesn't let you really use any of the tools.
Then you might want to just go in and copy and paste. Try that. What did you say? You can move it?
Yeah, mine, I'm gonna do so I can. Well, everything is wrong.
Well, if you have to type it in, type it in. I made it big where you can see it. Type them in. And then I want you to graph the cases of Lyme disease and drowning, find the R factor, and find the equation of the best fit. That's all I care about, because I've already established that there is a causality between drowning and cases of Lyme disease, and that's summer being outside. What about, well, that's another question for later. Just put one in. All right, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to insert, and here's what the graph looks like. And then there is a correlation, it's pretty tight.
Like, I know how to change it. Like, I know how to make this go right, but I don't
No.
know if it'd be right.
Well, I don't like you.
Well, then I'm bringing it.
Okay, bring it up here. There's the trend line, and here is the,
Change the minimum and maximum, but like, I don't understand how to do that. I'll tweak it out.
there you go. Yes, ma'am.
Weedy, yeah.
I know, right? Alright. Okay, look at this. It says 927. See this? And I put it in, then the square root.
You gotta have square root of that.
I know. So it's it was 963. And then I put it in and it's wrong.
What'd it say?
Oh my gosh, what?
Did you extend to make the,
Why is it doing that?
No, but I didn't need to. Because that's what I did on the last example with you and I got it right.
all right, let's try it on the calculator and see. All right, let's try it on the calculator.
I have different numbers than you do.
All right, try. Also, somebody give me the square root of 0.918, please. What's the square root of 0.918?
0.958.
0.9 what?
58.
Okay, so if you're doing the problem I'm doing, it's 0.958. Okay, if you're not, then it's been basically shown that there is a rounding. So the rounding problem. So let's look on the do-jigger, the calculator, and see what it gives us. So I'll have to pull it up. Give me a second to pull it up. And those of you on the calculator drill team, go ahead and type in. Let's do them all the same. Let's type in what I have on the board. I'll pull it up with the, just give me a second to pull up I'll pull up everything in just a second. Let me pull up the TI-84. Of course, I have to do this because IT won't fix it. So, all right, there's the Excel. There's that. Okay, I think this is the one I had, right? Somebody verify that this is the one I had pulled up a while ago. Okay, so I'm going to type in these numbers in stat. So stat, I'm trying, people. It's kind of hard to do when the technology is not working right. Edit. 3, 1, 2. Now you'll know why I don't like to use the calculator. 4, 5, 15, 22, 13, 6, 5, 4, and 1. And now go over to the other side. 0 and 1, 2 and 1. Takes longer with a mouse. 2, 9, 16. 5, 3, 3. And 1, 0. And I think you hit stat, hadn't done this in a while, calculate 2 variable statistic, L1, L2, and I'm just going to hit calculate. There you are. And we may have to go down. I don't know if it's going to give us R.
Yeah, I think you have to do linear regression. Yeah, linear regression.
Okay, linear regression. Thank you.
So
stat, calculate, linear regression,
Yes, sir.
and then L1, L2, and calculate. You don't have it, you got to hit Window. Where is it? Down catalog. And go to diagnostic on. I have no idea how much y'all know about this stuff or not, but hopefully there it is. Hit on and go back to stat, calculate, linear regression. I hope y'all are listening.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Calculate. There it is. 0.958. Is that what we were supposed to get?
Yes.
So you need to check yours with the calculator, and between the two, between the spreadsheet, and you should be able to get the right answer. I don't know why the Google Sheet is giving you a different answer. The only thing I know is you might want to go in and change the format to 6 or 8 digits, so that way it'll round to the third. You know what I'm saying? Try that. That's the only thing I know to do. Anybody got a question on these 2 questions? They're good questions. They're partly test questions. Make sure you can do everything as far as a slope, equation of a line. Make sure you can do the trend line. Make sure you can find R. And you need some common sense to determine whether something causes something else. Nicolas Cage does not cause suicides, okay? Some may think so, but there's no correlation. No causality. There is correlation, but not causality. All right, so with that, we move into chapter 5. So you're responsible now for 4.1 and 4.2. Chapter 5. What is chapter 5? Probability. If somebody was to ask you what is the definition of probability, what would you tell them?
Chances.
something will happen.
Yep, that's pretty much it. How many of you have ever been on Wild Hog Road? This is when you're supposed to act like you don't have any idea where it is.
Whitehall Road right there.
Wild Hog.
Wow.
Highway 187, between the double bridges in Pendleton. Okay? That road is about what? 15 miles long? If you ever get on it to go to Pendleton campus for an 8 o'clock class, if you get on it at 20 till, you will not make it. Why? Because the Little Blue Haired Ladies Club is on that road. And who is the Little Blue-Haired Ladies Club? They drive 33 miles an hour. Okay, and they have CBs in their cars. That's how they talk to each other. And they will always get in front of you when you are running what? Late. All right? You can't pass. Even some of you guys that think you can travel the speed of light, you cannot pass because you might have a head-on collision. All right? Now, why am I telling you this? Because I'm going to draw a picture on the board, and you don't have to draw it, but it's just this happens to all of us, okay? You get on that, why is it doing this? I don't know where that came from. Go away. I hope this works. Okay, it's working. Okay. When you get on Wild Hog Road, Wild Hog is like 15 miles long, but at the end of Wild Hog Road, there's dead ends. And let's say this is West Anderson, this is Double Bridges, and this is Garrett's, and this is Wild Hog Road. And you travel Wild Hog Road, and you pass Pendleton High School. Pendleton High School is right here, and you go on down here, and flares out like this, and then you got this road right here, and this is the Waffle House in Pendleton. Okay, this is the QT. Y'all know where you at now? Okay. And you get right about here, and there's 2 lanes right here. This one turns left, and this one turns right. Well, it's about 10 after 8. You just missed your class, okay? And you get about right here, and the Little Blue-Haired Ladies Club is in front of you, okay? And you say to yourself, you've already had road rage. You already beat the heck out of the steering wheel. Okay? And you just basically have said, I'm not going to go to class. I'm just going to go to QT and get something to eat, or Waffle House and get something to eat and go to my 9 o'clock class. Okay? Because you're saying to yourself right about here, I bet this lady is going to turn left. And just as soon as you say that, what turns on? That left-hand blinker. Were you able to tell the future? No. Because nobody can tell the future. Okay? Were you able to tell the future? No. Because if somebody claims that they can tell the future, what's you going to ask them? What's the one question you will ask them? What? I heard. Y'all ever heard Mushmouth on Fat Albert? That's what y'all sound like. Okay, I'm going to ask it again. What would you ask for if somebody told you they could tell the future? What would you ask them?
What are the lottery numbers?
What are the lottery numbers? Oh, well, I don't work like that. Bullshit. Okay? I hate to say it like that, but these people that say they can tell the future, they're full of it. Nobody can tell the future. I even had a friend one time. I had one friend one time. I can take your dreams and I can tell the future. My dreams, they are created by my brain, and you're going to tell me the future with my dreams that I created in my brain. How stupid does that sound? Really? But there's people out there, and they will take your money. Why? Because you're what? Thank you. Whatever you want to fill in. You're gullible, stupid, naive, as Barney says, naive, okay? Do not fall for it. Now, what can I do? I can assign a number between, I can't spell today, between -1 and what? 0 to 1. By experience, by mathematics, and by logic. How many of you have been in this situation when you're on a long A highway, you can't pass, You get behind somebody that's going 33 miles an hour and you predict what they're going to do right before they do it. Okay, you've done it before, but that doesn't mean you can tell the future. What that means is you've taken experience and logic and technically mathematics, but you do it in your head, basically, the logic, and that is part of mathematics, and you say that person's going to turn left. Now, where does the logic fit in? All right, some of you are from this area. It's called West LA. Okay, West Lower Anderson. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There is no way to get to Pendleton except for Highway 187 or I-85 or Clemson Boulevard, right? There's no way. But there's 3 roads that pull off here and goes to what? Sandy Springs. Here, at the doghouse, old doghouse, Sandy Springs. And then right behind Boscoville, right behind Pendleton High School, you can go to Sandy Springs. So, if you live in West Anderson, there's only 2 destinations you can go when you get to the end of Wild Hog Road. And where are they? Sandy Springs and Pendleton/Clemson. With me? So if you're on Wild Hog Road and you're on it past all 3 of those Sandy Spring, turnoffs, what's the logic that person's going to go to Sandy Spring? They're not. They're going to go where? To Pendleton, because if they were going to Sandy Springs, they would have already what? Turned off. Everybody with me? That's the logic. Now you're thinking about this in your head, you just don't know it. Because of what? Because of experience. You've traveled that road, especially like me. You traveled that road first 15 years of your career. You traveled it every morning and every afternoon. Okay? So you pick up these things. Now, 18-year-old guys, they all have this in common. They know what? Everything. All right? But some of you that don't know everything, you will find out through experience, through each year that you live, you're going to find out more about stuff like this. You're going to find out more about psychology and how screwed up other people are. You're going to find out all that good stuff. Okay? Even the guys that think they know everything, they're going to find that out too. And the ones that think they know everything are going to turn around 20 years from now and say, what? I was a dumbass thinking I knew everything, because you don't know everything. Okay? Now, what does this have to do with what we're going to be doing in the next 3 or 4 sections? You're going to be taking math and experience and logic, and you're going to decide whether something will happen or not happen based on what you pull out of the deck of cards or whatever the case may be. Capiche? That's basically what probability is. Assigning a number to a prediction based on experience, mathematics, and logic. Now, you can write all that other stuff down if they give you a big old long definition. And nobody can tell the what, especially in your dreams that you create. I think that has to be one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard of in my entire life. And that's measure of likelihood. I'm not going to go through all that because that's academic, confuse the student. Okay? Outcomes. That's possible things that happen. If you get pregnant, what's the 2 possible outcomes? You're going to have a boy or a what? A girl. There's 2 other outcomes, but I don't like to talk about that because that's kind of morbid. But, there's 2 outcomes, boy or girl. Now, I'm not going to argue with anybody because if you're either born with the equipment or you're not, okay? I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Law of large numbers. What is this? Write on this one, CYA. What is CYA covering? What is that covering? Oh, come on. Y'all are almost adults and you've never heard of CYA? Cover your... You've never heard that?
People just say it.
Well, I have to say CYA because of the buttercups and the snowflakes. I have to say that. But thank you. That's what it's for. All right? What do you mean? I'm going to give you a little story. Let's say you're the quality assurance manager for Michelin. And your job is to make sure that the three companies, Greenville, Sandy Springs, and Anderson, are not putting out bad tires. And you have an office up there at the Crystal Palace, right above Carolina Dreaming up there. You know where that Crystal Palace is, the Michelin plant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's where all the executives stay. Anyway, you bring it home 120, 130,000 a year, and all you have to do is predict how many bad tires these three, the Southeast, which I think there's 3 or 4, has to put out. So they can put it in the budget for next year so they can pay for the bad tires. So between golf and polo and, the things that you like to do, you just kind of put your job off and you say, oh, shoot, it's September. I've got a meeting at the end of September. I need to get this done. So you go to the Anderson plant over here and you ask the quality assurance guy, all right, I need you to pull 50 tires. And then you go to Sandy Springs, it's a little bit bigger plant. I need you to pull 100 tires. Tell me if you get bad tires. Tell me how many you get bad. Tell me why. And then you go over to Greenville at the Donaldson Center and you say, give me 100 tires. I need you to tell me what, blah, blah, blah. And then you make a big presentation. The meeting comes up September 30th or whatever. You have a meeting. You say that 22% of the tires are going to be bad for next year based on the readings that I got. 22%. Everybody with me? 22%. The CEOs, they do their calculations. They say, okay, that's $1.2 million we need to put aside next year. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Next year rolls around. Guess what the actual damaged tires were? 52%. What are you? Fired. Why? Why do you think they pay you 6 figures? To do it right. And why didn't he do it right? He or she, whatever. Why didn't they do it right? Because they were playing golf and they only pulled what? Small what? Numbers. Never, ever pull small numbers when you are going to present something in your job. Always remember the big numbers cover your honey. Okay? Buttercups and snowflakes. Okay? Even though ass is a donkey, anyway, the law of large numbers. Always use big numbers. On polls, especially subjective polls. What are subjective polls?
Opinion.
Polls that try to change your what? Mind. Look at the bottom. They need to have 2 things. They need to have N, which is how many people you polled, and they need to have a margin of error. If N is not at least 100, throw it away, especially with a national poll. If margin of error is above 2 or 3, throw it away because it's not even worth the paper it's written on. Capiche? Law of large numbers. Make sure you do it not only in statistics, but in probability. That is a test question. Experiment. What's an experiment? Somewhere where I have something, an observation that I control. The difference between an observation and an experiment. This is a test question. This is a standardized test question. Observation, you ever seen those sleep apnea videos where people are, night vision, they're hooked up with all these probes and everything or whatever, sensors, and people watch them sleep and record to see them turn. They look demonic, but people sit up and walk around while they're sleeping. Y'all seen those before? That's an observation. What is an observation? When you just watch people. Watching people is an observation. That is the most fun thing in the world to do. Watch people. I love doing that. I could sit up here and just watch people. It's so entertaining. Anyway, that's an observation. Observation is when you don't influence. Well, what if every time that person turned, I put a cattle prod to him?
That is interfering.
That is interfering, so that means that's an experiment. What if every time you tossed and turned, I put a cattle prod to you, which is electricity like a taser, okay? That would be an experiment. Of course, you wouldn't sleep very good, but, that would be the point. You ever seen these shock collars on dogs? That's an experiment because you are controlling what the dog is doing by, shocking it whenever it barks or whatever the case may be. The electric fence with the collar with a dog. That's kind of like an experiment. You are controlling versus just putting the dog out in the front yard and watching him run down the street. That's an observation. Make sure you know the difference between observation. What is a rat maze? That's an observation. What if I put cheese in the rat maze? That's an experiment. Get it? Sample space. The possible outcomes. I'm going to give you a good example here to write down. Write it down. Boy, 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 girl, girl, boy, girl, girl. What is that? That's a sample space. If you were to have 2 children, that is your sample space. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why is he using boy, girl all the time? That's what's in the book, okay? Fuss at them. Okay? There's 2 or 3 sample spaces. 2 children, 3 children, 4 children. Make sure you know them. Look them up. Just Google it. Look up. Google sample space, 3 children. Sample space, 4 children. It's easier just to look it up than to go boy, 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 girl, boy, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, boy, girl. It's easier just to look it up. Make sure you have them on 3 cards because you will use them not only in this unit, but you'll use it in the next unit. An event. When you have a boy or a girl, that is an event. It's an event, especially for the female. Okay, that is a major event. So when you think of an event, think of having a baby. That's an event. It has a possible of 2 what? Outcomes. An event has an outcome. I'm trying to make this simple for y'all. There it is. Look, I didn't make this slide. Okay? Boy, 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 girl, girl, boy, girl, girl. That's the sample space. And which one having 1 boy, not at least 1 boy, 1 boy. Well, that would be 2. Boy, girl, girl, boy. Capiche? Okay, there is the probability of an event. Write that down, especially if you've never had probability before. If you've never had probability, how do you write the probability of an event? A capital P, parentheses, capital E, close parentheses. If I want the probability of a king, like pulling a king out of a deck of cards, that would be probability, capital K, close parentheses. If I wanted the probability of a queen or a face card, queen would be Q, face card would be FC, face card. An ace would be A, capital A. An odd card, you could put probability of an odd, a big O with, what did I just say? Cards with a C, meaning odd cards. And that's how you write it. And the probability is a decimal between 0 and what? 0.01 would be very unlikely. 9.99 would be very what? Likely. Okay, this is a standardized test question I'm fixing to ask you. If something has a probability of 0, is it impossible? No. Always remember birth control.
0.999.
Exactly. But some people think that birth control is 100%. But some of you may know of an instance where somebody has been born or has had a baby and they said, I was on birth control. Just because something says 0 does not mean it's what? Impossible. Now I'm going to go into self-improvement mode. Anything is what? Possible. Anything. So just because something has a 0 probability does not mean it's impossible. Write that down because that is a standardized test question and it is a test question in here. Okay, you have 2 rules of probability. One is it has to be between 0 and 1. And the probabilities have to add up to equal what? 1. So in this case, you can't have negatives. You can't have 1.6. You can't have all your probabilities equal 3. Okay? You can't have a negative. You can't have anything above 1. And you can't have a total equal and above 1. Now, there is a test question where they give you the probability is equal to 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Can that be a true probability? No. Why? Because that's equal to 0.75. You got to have it equal to what? 1. So you need another fourth in there. Make sure you know your fractions. Make sure you know how to get a common denominator, because one test question, standardized and my test, asks you 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and you say true or false. You say false, because it has to equal 1. Just like all your graphs, what do all your graphs have to equal? What does my percentages on my weights and my grades, what do those have to equal? 100. All your probabilities have to equal 1. There it is. If an event is impossible, the probability of an event is 0. I distaste that because I would say improbable or something like that. I do not use impossible. Mark through that. Okay? Put less than likely, less likely, or very unlikely is a good word. An event is very likely. An unusual event has a very low probability and is usually outside what percent? 95%. So an event is very unlikely. An event is very likely. Do not use these two words. I don't know why they put that in there. There's even questions that say, I don't understand, but anyway. Next question. Next slide. Now, what is the probability of an event happening? It's the number of times something happens over the number of times something's tried. So you can put whatever you want to. I put number sign happen over number sign tried. That's what I say. Because that's a whole lot easier for you to remember than the frequency of A over the number of trials of the experiment. Now, if you want to feel good about yourself and learn that, then you can learn that. Frequency of A over the number of trials of the experiment. Let me check the time before some of y'all go into hysterics. We'll stop there.